Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be beginning with the workshop soon, and thank you so much for taking your time out and being here for 91 Springboard workshops. So, just to begin with, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Tanisha. I'm from the community team of 91 Springboard. And for those who don't know about 91 Springboard, we are a pan-India community of co-working spaces. We have across 25 hubs in different metro cities of India. And we are located out of Delhi NCR, Maharashtra, Goa, Hyderabad, and Bengaluru. And these are the knowledge sharing workshops that we host on a weekly basis. Every week we have these workshops, we have mentoring sessions, we have boot camps and networking meetups. So just in case you wish to stay connected with the 91 Springboard community, or you wish to know more about these events and these workshops, you can stay in touch with us either through our email ID or through email. Just a second. Either through our email ID or through my LinkedIn profile. I'm sharing both the links in the chat below. Our email is community@91springboard.com, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you wish to stay connected with the 91 Springboard community. I would officially like to welcome everyone to 91 Springboard workshops. And just before beginning, I would like to introduce the expert for today. That is Shivam, the co-founder of the teaser company and a marketing professional. Hi, Shivam. How are you?
Hi, Tanisha. Thanks for a warm welcome.
That is great. So I'll just like to introduce teaser to everyone just before we start with the workshop, and I hand over the mic to you. So Shivam is the co-founder of the teaser company that helps D2C brands create high conversion ads, and is also committed to cracking the art and science behind communications on paid channels through strategy, creativity, and communications design. And in the past 4 years, they have helped more than 70 D2C brands crack the growth formula, including Gynoveda, Wellbeing Nutrition, Plum Goodness, and a couple of brands who have been on Shark Tank too, like Wakao Foods and Cremitalia. Is that the pronunciation? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's completely Cremitalia. Yeah, that's
right. And there's also Benny's Bowl and Neon Attack, which they have worked with. So before Shivam starts sharing his screen and I hand over the mic to him, I would request everyone to please keep your microphones on mute while Shivam is speaking, because the flow of the workshop, the presentation might get disturbed because of that. In case you have any questions, you can drop them down in the chat below. We would love to pick them up in the middle of the presentation too, just in case they're relevant. Otherwise, we have a dedicated Q&A towards the end of the workshop. We'll also be sharing participation certificates and feedback forms with you. So stay tuned till the end of the workshop. And so yes, Shivam, over to you. You can start with your presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Tanisha. And hi, everyone. Really good to see the attendance right here. And I'll just reintroduce myself once again. Of course, I'm one of the co-founders at the Teaser company. I have been a copywriter in the initial stage of my career. I wrote for a lot of brands like Honda, McDonald's, Michelin, was heading the national creative team for Honda. Before we, founded this company called Teaser, where we had a very clear vision and intent of creating advertising that sort of converts. I mean, when you are working on ATL channels, TV, print, radio for a long time, you don't really get to understand the impact your advertising is actually creating. And then that was the vision behind founding the company, to with the digital ecosystem being very friendly with the consumer companies. We wanted to create content that could be straight away pegged with the conversion part of it. And that's how we have worked with a lot of brands and D2C brands in the past. very fortunate to be associated with well-known brands like Pilgrim, Wellbeing Nutrition, Gynoveda at relatively early stages, and still associated with a bunch of 40 odd brands, helping them take their journey from 0 to 1, which is our specialty as a consulting company. And something I would really want to discuss in today's workshop is the importance of, as you would have known from the topic of the workshop itself, how content plays a very, very pivotal role increasingly in D2C as a business, as well as media buying in D2C. So those are the two key aspects we'll be touching upon. Just curious to know how many of you are D2C founders here. If you guys could probably tell in the chat section, or if you are D2C founders or not. Okay. Okay, I guess definitely as I expected, a bunch of D2C founders. Thank you, Paresh. And anyone who is not a founder but into D2C media buying, or media management, ads management only. Okay, Naveen. Okay, so agency as well. Okay, great. Super, Priya. Thank you. So as I expected, a lot of people here from media buying in the media buying domain, as well as having a D2C business. So great. I think you guys will enjoy the session. We'll talk a lot about the role content is playing in D2C, how media buying, where media buying is moving now in tandem with D2C, and what role content plays at the intersection of D2C and media buying essentially. So on that note, I would like to share my screen and take you guys through a small 8 to 10 slider. Although we intend to, like Tanisha mentioned in the beginning, we can keep it interactive. We can, come up with questions, or have if there's a relevant question, happy to answer then and there and discuss it. Although we can have a dedicated session towards the end also. So that's fine. So yeah, here you go. Cool. So Tanisha, let me know if there is any question or anything.
Sure. I'll do that.
Discuss. Cool. So just stepping a little back, and because I also come from a network agency background, trying to look a little backwards and understand where we have come from when it comes to media buying. So media buying essentially wasn't how it is today. This generation has only seen probably Facebook ads and Google ads as their media buying, as what media buying stands for. But if you step a little back, media buying used to be a lot about purchasing inventory, billboards, print, magazines, and then pushing your brand's advertising into it. So it was a very heavy and sluggish affair of purchasing inventory, be it TVC commercial space, and then pushing your brand ad on it. On the other hand, if you go back, you will know that there was not a clear-cut formula of telling any brand that this is the kind of impact your brand has created. There were only measurable, that could only be measured by some guesstimation, that this is the readership, this percentage must have seen the ad, this percentage must have purchased the ad, blah, blah, blah. Lastly, the intent of brands who were advertising or spending a lot on advertising anyway was to create some kind of awareness and recall. And they would, obviously, everything marketing translates into sales, but sales wasn't looked at something as an immediate effect of buying media space. On the other hand, where we have come to now is 100% attributable media buying. If you're buying a space, you have the freedom to choose which kind of audience should click on it. What are you paying for a click? What is it that you are getting out of a click, in terms of sales, blah blah blah. You have all those metrics in front of you. And when it comes to D2C, again, it is only very natural for D2C brands early stage anyway to advertise for sales, because that is what we do when we are doing meta ads or Google ads. Lastly, the process is very lean. You are able to buy media space at the click, just by setting up a few campaigns on any ad channel. It wasn't how it is before. So just a little context of what media buying, how we have transcended the media buying space over the years, and what is the kind of flexibility we have nowadays. Coming to the second part, which is content then and now. So again, one thing we know that earlier content used to be a lot about long form. Even if there was a TV commercial, it was a longish TV commercial. Even if it was a newspaper advertorial, the copy used to be on a longer side. There was a lot of information to be consumed, because the attention span previously, what it used to be, is very different from what it is today. Today we have short form content being consumed in a jiffy. Essentially, you essentially have only a few seconds to capture the user's attention. So that is how we are used to. It's very tough to read a book in this day and age for a lot of people. So that is how content has changed in its own way. There is a lot of, with the rise of digital media, there is a lot of ways you can interact with your user through content. There is a lot of engagement that can happen with your content. It wasn't the case before. Even if you talk about promoted content, it was essentially one way. You were talking through an advertorial, print ad, magazine, and you were trying to talk to the consumer and not expecting him to take any action. On the other hand, today you want them to take an action, and hence engagement becomes or asking them or expecting them to engage becomes very important. Lastly, I mean, nothing is centralized today. I mean, previously it was that only a few book publishers or media houses had the power within them to control the content being distributed. But today everyone is a creator, and it's very important to understand, even as a D2C brand or an agency, that the importance of creators, influencers, and an open economy when it comes to content. And we'll of course touch upon that a little later. But one important thing we all need to remember is that although the attention span is decreasing, the opportunity lies in increasing consumption of content. We were not expecting people who don't know how to read to consume content, but now TikTok is not here, but when it was there, it was essentially being used and consumed by a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities folks also. So and similarly, the penetration of Facebook and Instagram is highest, at least Facebook anyway, in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities now. Cities or metros might have been saturated. So it's important to understand that there's a lot of opportunity that lies in terms of content and in terms of consumers, in the consumer business also, D2C, because of the penetration of the internet in the deeper tiers, essentially. Lastly, D2C versus traditional B2C, some kind of now and then comparison. It always used to be a very capital intensive affair. If you're starting a consumer business, let's say, you had to set up a plant. If you're manufacturing cement, if you are starting a soft drink business, you had to figure out the manufacturing bit, right? Today you have the opportunity to open a business by ensuring that the supply is coming from someone who is already doing it, right? So there are a lot of options of going lean with your company. You had to be very retail heavy earlier, which is that you had to tie up with the distributors, give them stuff in advance, your goods in advance, and then expecting sales in the latter part of the entire journey. It's not the case today. Sales happen in real time, the transactions happen in real time. You don't need a brick and mortar store. You just need a website and ads to get your business live. And that is the beauty of D2C. That is the beauty of how the consumer business is, moving forward, because of the whole leanness and agility associated with the whole thing. Uh, Definitely, I mean, brand, very important, but the idea of having a brand and awareness being created first and then expecting any sales has been defeated, because of the ability of doing any kind of marketing directly translating into sales right from day one when it comes to D2C. So that was a small kind of comparison between D2C content and media buying now and then. Uh, Happy to answer in case of any questions, if at all anyone has.
Shivam, there are no questions in the chat. If anyone has any questions, you can either raise your hands. I guess we can continue and we can take the questions later.
Sure, absolutely. Great. So moving forward. Yeah. So moving forward, let's talk about the essentials of a D2C business in this day and age. What do you need? I mean, how do you start a D2C business? Or if you have started and you're questioning the existence of that D2C business, what are the three key pegs you need to fix? You need to lay a strong foundation with when it comes to a D2C business, is that you will need to be solving a very legit problem. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be a want based problem, it could be a need based problem, but there has to be a legit problem. It could be a problem where a solution is already existing, but you claim to have come up with a better solution, a stronger solution, smarter solution. So that is something you need to have it figured out in your mind, and hammer it all the more as you run a D2C business, is that you're solving a very legit and genuine problem for which there is an addressable market size. Um, Second thing, which we touched upon in the previous slide also, is that you need to ensure that there is now that you've figured out the demand, you need to come to the supply, right? And you need to sort of figure out that what is it, how I'm going to procure. Let's, for example, you are okay, let's imagine that there is an idea you come up with, that you are selling curry spreads to consumers, and the problem you're trying to solve here is that in the hustle and bustle of daily life, people who are genuinely into enjoying authentic curries and gravies are running short of time when it comes to preparing them, yet they want to enjoy, they want to savor the taste of it. So the problem is very clear in your head, that you want to address the folks that have a fast life yet want to enjoy authentic curries and gravies, can buy my curry spreads and enjoy the taste all along, and refrigerate it, keep it at your place whenever you need, even if it is 2 a.m. In the night, you can consume it. So this is a problem you have figured out. Now you need to optimize your supply chain. You need to figure out, you need to tie up with manufacturers, you need to find the most efficient way, uh, optimize the logistics part of procuring the supply of such curry spreads, and delivering it to the end user, while ensuring that the whole process is very flexible and not very cost intensive, of course. So that is your second step, and you don't need to make those curry spreads. You can always go and talk to who is doing it for Viva, and figure out a way to sort of procure the similar kind of stuff from there with your brand value, and start. And coming to the last part, which is sales, how are you going to sell it? if there is any demand on the marketplace, on Amazon, on Flipkart, are there any niche marketplaces that are exclusively into food? Is there anyone listed on Instamart or Blinkit when it comes to curry spreads, or there is an opportunity there? What are the kind of keyword density there? What are your competitors on D2C? How many people are selling from straight away from their website? Which is the right channel for you? If it's your website, then how are you going to advertise it? Facebook ads, Google ads, which we'll of course touch upon in a bit, the sales part of it. But yeah, these are the three very essential things. You come up with a problem, and you address it with your product. You figure out how to supply it, procure it, and supply it to the end user, and you figure out a way of sorting out your sales bit through a sales channel. So these are the three essentials when it comes to a D2C business. Moving forward is the second, is the last part which we touched upon, was sales. So again, coming again to this curry spreads brand. Now that you have understood the pain point, you have understood the problem, you are addressing a problem, you need to understand several pain points that your potential consumers would be facing. So for example, you have figured out that your TG essentially is the kind of people who are fast, who have a fast lifestyle, but yet want to savor the taste of authentic gravies. Second thing you would want to do is understand their pain points, right? One pain point could be that they don't have time for themselves. They could be bachelors, I mean, and they have a very hectic lifestyle. They don't have time for themselves, right? So this is one pain point. Second is a very similar, same problem looked through a different pain point perspective, is that if it's a working mom and has a demand of delicious tiffin boxes from their kids, how can I address them? Because they are also the ones always looking for instant gratification of their kids, and tasty tiffin boxes, good scrumptious Indian gravy and stuff. But you are addressing the pain point that the children are demanding for it. And in the first one, you are all about possibly a bachelor who has a very hectic schedule and yet want to savor the taste at 2 a.m. in the night. So those are very two different pain points. Although the kind of your solution and how you are selling your product, I mean, essentially your product is the same, but you are addressing two different pain points of your TG. Then again, you need to reiterate your content, which is your ads, which you are, through which you are selling your product again and again. And all the media buyers would be knowing in this workshop, or even D2C founders, that today, as much as it is about content, when it comes to securing your D2C sales, it's very important to iterate good ads again and again and again, right? And how do you do that? You will not be able to do that unless you feel to be in the shoes of your TG. You need to interact as much as you can with your consumers through phone calls, try to understand their feedback. Where are they living? Where are they living? What languages are they speaking? What is their what is their lingo? What are they watching? Unless, if you know everything in and out of your ideal customer, you will be able to create content and reiterate it as much as you want. Because you will have come up with 10 situations that, okay, while Netflix, someone might have a temptation of having a good curry spread meal while having Netflix, or what language to use in my ad. If I can use a regional lingo, or maybe speak in English and be very desi, because my customer is such that they're in tier 2, tier 3 cities, then you will be able to use that kind of dialogues and everything in your ad to reach out to them and make sure that you're striking a chord with them. So these are essential for essentially having good sales specs to your whole D2C strategy. which is understanding pain points, reiterating good content, and knowing your audience in and out. And the more you know your audience in and out, you will be able to reiterate good content by identifying different pain points in your TG where you can introduce the solution that is your product. So that is how do you sell how do you sell part of the entire D2C product strategy. Again, coming to something that we have noticed a lot of times in terms of mistakes, what is being done by brands is that a lot many times when you are a very new D2C brand, especially, you are trying to talk to everyone, speak with everyone. Essentially, I mean, I've seen founders coming up with ideas where they say that, okay, in week one we were talking to males, but then in the second week we feel that the ad is not reaching out to the females. Then let's change the targeting to only females because this is not working out. Which doesn't really make sense because you can't. I mean, and technically speaking, and I'm sure with all the media buyers here, if your pixel is be it Google ads or Facebook ads, if the learning has happened in a way where it has identified its perfect TG and you're trying to meddle with the learning by forcibly targeting it to a different TG in narrower parts of the country, the whatever results you are getting, you will not be getting. And even logically speaking, from a marketing standpoint, you need to be very sure either through different iterations of testing and validating your product market fit, or through your belief in the idea itself that you know your TG, and you don't need to go very wide essentially and try to open it up to a different all kinds of audience in the hope of getting more sales. You will only be diluting your brand, and like your strategy will essentially go all over the place. A second type of mistake we have seen being made is that a lot of brands tend to be too generic, when it comes to their proposition. I mean, the very the okay, let's talk about a personal care brand. If someone is selling a soap, it's a category, personal care, that is so cluttered that selling anything is very tough. And what happens eventually is that what ideas media buyers tend to come up with is that why don't you run an offer like B2G5, buy to get 5 kind of offer? Why don't you run that? So that is the thing. You need to understand that you have to have a point of differentiation. If you don't have a point of differentiation inherent in your product, then you propose it. So for example, you may be having a soap, and you would want to sell it. Now that there are so many, it's first of all, breaking a habit of using any particular soap is a nightmare. Then you're trying to sell it at a competitive price, it's not going to work because there are a lot of established brands. Then just putting money on ads won't be solving the problem. Why don't you position your brand in a way that it's just a soap for intimate parts, and then try to sell it. Now you have a clear proposition, so you are not going too generic. Similarly, if you're trying to sell oil, where there are so many competitors that it's very tough to stand out, then you have to have some kind of proposition where you talk about how my oil is healthier than the other kinds of oil present in the market. So that is something you need to understand, that until you are portraying what's special in your brand, that helps that encourages the consumer to make that choice. Okay, fine, it will help me advance in my life because the kind of oil I'm consuming right now is not good for my health, but if I do this one, it will help me, it will be genuinely be good for me and my family. Then you will have solved a problem. And if your product in itself is very unique and solving a very unique problem, then you won't be facing that problem anyway. Third kind of mistakes a lot of D2C founders make is they will invest on non-revenue generating activities. And the biggest one, in my knowledge, is investing extensively into branding, which is something we have seen a lot of seasoned people who have got a lot of experience, and of course, it doesn't apply to all, but who have got a lot of experience in conventional marketing are very much about investing in brand related activities right from day one. So they will underline the need of very stringent brand guidelines, brand packaging, and maybe doing a brand film. Now there are two problems with that. First is that your validation and the flexibility and the agility of the brand goes for a toss. For example, let's say if it was a soap brand and you would have started it with, you would have started with a different, with the identification of a different pain point, which is, for example, outdoor kind of soap, which you can carry while traveling. But then you identify, okay, no, this was a wrong pain point I was identifying. The right kind of pain point for this my product, or the right kind of proposition is that it's a soap for intimate parts. Then if you had invested everything into making that soap for travelers, you won't be able to, by the time you would have come up with that learning, okay, I can change the positioning into soap for intimate parts. You would have invested a good amount of money in, doing the brand guidelines around that positioning, that idea, doing a brand film, brand guidelines, and all those things. So the idea is to start very lean. If we talk about some of the good D2C brands that have managed to scale in the past, including M Caffeine, and if you had seen their website in the early days, it was a very basic website, almost like a blog. But they identified the idea of doing good D2C marketing, and that has good sales associated with it. Of course, the competition market wasn't very competitive at that point in time for their category. They were able to nail it down. So for a brand doing the 0 to 1 journey, never ever invest a lot in non-revenue generating activities. And yeah, so I'm sure right now we'll touch upon how content and media buying, the two words are increasingly coming together as and when, like, these days. It's and we'll sort of chat a little about what do you need to keep in mind when you're doing iterative content for your brand. So first thing is that right now in this market anyway, you need to be your channel margins too need to be positive, which is that your net sales by net advertising spends plus cost of goods sold plus all the spent done on delivery and logistics need to be lesser than the selling price or equal to the selling price. It's recommended, it's not necessary, because a lot of brands in the past have acquired at a huge burn and are still doing so. But then, the market right now is such that even investors are sort of, looking at brands who are having their CM2 margins under control. So that is something you need to keep in mind when you are doing media buying. And driving repeat purchases is as important as any time right now. If you are having a very poor repeat rate of, let's say, 2 to 5%, then you need to change the game somewhere, because a very poor repeat rate means that your brand is essentially not being able to create a recall. And with the kind of competition we are facing every day, it's very tough to sustain if you have a very poor repeat rate. And having a good repeat rate will always help you decrease your customer acquisition cost as you proceed month on month. So that is very important. And coming to how content and media buy comes together, it's uh, it's 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 something you need to be very active about. That conversion oriented content needs to be churned out regularly. Remember, we spoke about the importance of being cognizant of the creator economy today. If you are a D2C brand that is trying to scale up, you need to have a very solid creator strategy right there with you. Because increasingly, media buying is not about sharp targeting, sharp campaign optimization. It is, but not as much as it used to be. With the privacy opt-outs, us moving into a cookie-less world in terms of browsers, it's not as easy as it used to be. And the only way you can identify and reach to your TG, to your relevant TG, is by creating content that speaks with that TG, because AI plays a very good role in making sure that your content, if you're speaking with a similar TG in a similar tone, it goes to the right kind of people anyway. So content and media buying, right now we are at a place in the market that there's a huge overlap in between the two things. And the kind of TG you have and the kind of creator pool you have created for yourself needs to resonate very well. So you invest time and energy and also money into that part of getting conversion oriented content churned out on a regular basis.
Shivam, we have a couple of questions related to this slide.
Sure.
Vivek is asking, can you please explain CM2 positive once again?
So, okay, sure. So CM2 positive is that when your cost of goods sold, cost of goods that you are procuring, your actual cost of goods, plus your marketing spends, basically your customer acquisition cost, plus cost of goods sold, plus delivery logistics, whatever you're paying for delivery and logistics, is less than or equal to the selling price. Essentially at the price at which you are selling. So that means basically you're profitable when it comes to unit economics, right? And hope that solves the question.
Thank you, Shivam, for that answer. We do have a couple of questions from Rajat. Rajat, would you mind switching on your microphone and asking your questions? Okay, I'll take them for Rajat. So Rajat has asked, what can be a good repeat rate?
Okay. So Rajat, it depends on the category you are in. Could I know the category you are talking about here?
Rajat, would you like to
Okay,
switch on your microphone?
Yeah, in general category, okay, fine. So Rajat, yeah, I mean, it's a very category dependent question. If you are in, see, for example, if you are in the electronics category, your repeat rate cannot be very high, right? I mean, I don't want to purchase an earphone or a smartwatch every second month. But if you are in a F&B category, or let's say someone has said beauty category, um, a repeat rate of around 20 to 25% is very good. 15% odd rate is average. Anything below that, you need to work on a retention marketing efforts. So Rajat, timeline of repeat rate, you can consider lifetime. For example, if 100 people are your consumers, out of them 20 people have more than one orders, 20% is your repeat rate.
So Kanya has dropped a follow-up question. What about nutrition and supplements brands?
So for nutrition and supplements, again, so for nutrition and supplements, I'll tell you one thing, and that is a strategy used by a lot of brands in the wellness space, that you have to talk about, and you have to do that. You have to talk about why this consumption in, let's say you are buying a pack of one, you have to tell them, if you do this continuously for 90 days, then you will see the best results. You will need to tell them that what is it that they need to do in order to get the best results out of that supplement, because supplement is a category where people are getting increasingly educated. And unless they don't know that, okay, I'm taking collagen, but मैं कितना लूँ, so that for the maximum efficacy, like you have written, Sukanya. So that is why you need to educate them that this is the best way to the best frequency to consume this supplement so as to get the maximum effect. And once you're able to do this through your WhatsApp automation, through your landing page education, through your ads, essentially, then you will definitely experience a better repeat rate for sure. Sure, Tanisha, probably we can keep this.
Yes, we can continue with the questions later.
Yeah. So Kanya, definitely. I mean, to answer your last question, definitely. It has to be more education for the supplement category, definitely. Application and demonstration, because people are still getting educated and more aware about the use of supplements anyway. So yeah. Again, Farah, I guess jewelry is also something which is not a very frequent purchase. So as far as you have your CM2 margins under control, I think you will have nailed jewelry anyway. So cool. Just moving on to the next slide. Okay, so I would like to sort of play a few examples here, because this is something which is as a company we specialize in, which is creating content that converts. But I'll talk about the few key essentials when it comes to producing content or high converting ads. Is that you need to stop. You need to have a scroll stopper. It could be as simple as a knock on the screen. I mean, just generally speaking, but a lot of product and brand relevant hooks. But you need to have a hook, because the scroll speed is increasing every day. When you talk about us in general, so you need to first of all catch their attention. Okay, fine. If I am I am a gym goer, then and I'm looking for gains, then you need to talk about gains in your first 2 seconds, and that is the biggest difference between a traditional TV commercial where your power punch was at the end, whereas in an ad it needs to be in the first 2 seconds. So that is one irresistible offer. If you are in a category that is competitive, you need to have a good offer, a very strong and relevant offer. For example, again, coming to supplements, if you have a protein shake, you needn't do a buy one get one all the time. If you are able to even do something like a free shaker if you purchase within the next 48 hours, you will be solving a possible problem of first time gym goers who are looking for a shaker because they're running short of it or they don't have it. So that is there. Lastly, a point of differentiation. I mean, if you're again selling protein and there are so many protein brands in the market, but what is your points of differentiation? Are you claiming that my protein will help you digest, is the easily digestible protein around? Then you hammer it from all directions and tell the consumer, tell the buyer that, okay, fine, my protein, if you buy it, it's the best protein you can when it comes to digestion, because it's easy to consume, easy to digest. Lastly, social proofing plus call to action. Why should I buy your protein? I mean, how many people have purchased it? Is it endorsed by someone known? Is it that my friends are using or other people of my kinds are using? If yes, then you should talk about it in a ad. And lastly, a call to action, wherein you're not just doing a regular shop now, but also talking about what is the most relevant kind of call to action that can happen when you are making that ad. So on that note, I'll just try to play a few examples from my screen of some of the best ads that we have done. Just allow me a moment. Yeah. So I'll just start with this one, maybe.
This is the single most important purchase for summer 2023. No chick. This vest from Mudbond literally made me breathe easy. Super lightweight, soft fabric. a must-have for sweaty summers. I can literally wear it under anything, and the waistline won't show all year. It is seamless. What I love the most is how it absorbs sweat, help me be odor-free through the day, and I'm not left wondering if I smell bad all the time. Buy 3 or 4, it will last for the entire summer and even the next one. So shop now.
So as you can see, the first 2 seconds of the ad is very much
Single most important purchase for summer 2020.
the single most important purchase for summer 2023 and the introduction of the product there. This in itself will be striking a chord with your ideal TG. That okay, it's summer, it's important, essential, and it's about men in general because the voiceover is that of a man. You can see the offer right here, loud and clear. Get a pair of Urban Active socks free, not costing a lot to the brand. And I guess we were able to bring up the ROAS by almost 100% within for consistently more than a month or 45 days through this asset and its repurposed variations. Similarly, maybe if I kind of talk about a few more things. Let's play this one where I'll talk about another important concept when it comes to content that converts.
तो इतना बड़ा है, इसको क्या कहते हैं? ये बुराटा है। बुराटा ये हमसे हमारा सबसे हाईएस्ट सेलिंग प्रोडक्ट है। नाइस लग रहा है, ये अच्छा है, टेस्ट अच्छा है। थैंक यू।
So here you are talking about how social proofing has been done in the ad because a sharks have approved it, and this is very
Sorry about that.
yeah. This is very I mean, if you build some kind of this kind of authority in your ad where you are showing validation by other people and people who have some kind of authority in the community, which is sharks, then automatically you're buying into a lot of trust by your from your consumer. Maybe I'll play one more and then we can go back to the presentation. This is a very tried and tested template. And
Heyman Naturals Slimming Green Tea. ये मुझे fit रखता है. It keeps my weight loss in check and keeps me energetic all the time. I have been using Heyman Naturals Slimming Green Tea for past 2 months, और इन 2 महीनों में I have lost 4.8 kg. Green tea, lemongrass, garcinia से मिलकर बना है ये Heyman Naturals Slimming Green Tea. Tastes the best, 100% natural. So one thing that makes green tea so good is it's highly loaded with healthy nutrients and antioxidants. To know more about products and more information, please visit www.buyheyman.com. Heyman Naturals Slimming.
so in this one, as you can see, there is a very strong the template in itself has 2 very key ingredients, which is social proofing on the bottom ticker. There are a lot of people shown using it, and the offer and key benefits are also in the template. Plus, people are talking about the product in the ad itself. So a lot of ingredients that we just discussed are covered in the ad, and if you're able to do that consistently, then I think you will get closer and closer towards doing an ad that converts and you will not need to experiment as much with so much creator content. Rather than you will be ready with good content and be able to iterate it at a good frequency. So your one creative, if you do with all these ingredients, it's bound to work for a longer time against if you and not make you do several experiments when it comes to your ads. Lastly, again, I would like to is there so Kanya, I think you're asking for which ads which have helped. Possibly you can connect with Tanisha after this. She may be able to help you. And lastly, just touching upon and we have already spoken a bit, but I would like to kind of again touch upon this topic because it's something a lot of D2C brands go wrong with, which is confusing social media content with paid ad content. It's not the same. When you're doing social media, you are looking for a long-term subscriber base or followership or a community building of your brand. When you're doing ads, you're looking for that one purchase or that attention grabber and sales pitch, so that you are able to steal them into being your purchaser or follower. So very, very big difference. A brand ad will peak towards the end, like we spoke about. There's a conflict, there's a resolution that the brand is introduced. That's a typical TVC. A high converting ad, the power punches is in the beginning where you steal their attention. That's one. In all the ads we have just played, the production quality was not stellar, and this is something we have spoken with a lot of brands about, that you don't need to have that extraordinary production quality to produce to have good sales or good converting ads. You need to, an average production quality will only ensure that it's something organic and it's something believable. So that's there. Plus, you don't need to talk about the larger brand message and brand purpose, like Michelin talking about sustainability. No, you don't need to do that, because you need to have your sales pitch loud and clear in your ad. There's no shame in hammering your proposition, benefits, offer, and call to action 3 times in an ad if it's working. So it's as simple as that. That's something I hope you'll also agree with. And on that note, I think we can end today's session. Hope you guys, every one of you, enjoyed it and are able to take away something out of it. And if at all there are any questions, although we sort of discussed a few, happy to discuss them right here.
Sure, Shivam. I'll just pick up a couple of questions from the chat. Just before picking up the questions, I am sharing the feedback form and the participation recognition certificate. This is for the attendees. Please do fill out the feedback form and let us know how you like the workshop. Shivam and I both will love to know that. And also there's a participation recognition certificate that says that you have attended this workshop and learned something new from this workshop. You can also feel free to customize it. It has a customizable option inside the certificate where you can add your logo or your name. So coming to the questions, Shivam, we have one from Sukanya. She's asking, does GWP help? Do you want more explanation on that question?
Yeah, GWP, if you could elaborate, it'll be great.
Sukanya, can you elaborate?
Also, for everyone else, I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile here in case you guys want to connect at any given point in time. Any doubts with regard to the session, D2C or content or paid ads in general, happy to help you. So yeah, here's my LinkedIn profile link in the chat section. A gift with purchase on D2C, definitely. I mean, okay, great, Sukanya, good to know. And gift with purchase on D2C is, yeah, like I said, I mean, if free gift has its own kind of satisfaction. So if you have a good gift going, so like I showed you the urban socks free with the vest, that's a freebie, not a gift, but a freebie. And if a freebie can work, so can a gift, I guess. So
we did have another question from Rajat, which was pretty relevant. So he was asking, what is a better strategy to go with when the trending creative strategy, or make a creative strategy which can become trending, as AI will learn from how user behaves on platform?
See, trending can never be a strategy. I get where you're coming from, Rajat, but see, the thing is that you need to be very true to the problem you're solving, the pain point you're addressing, and your offer, your solution, your proposition, and your benefits. If those ingredients are there, no matter what the format, it will work. If there is a trending format or music that is supporting your pitch, then it's good. I mean, it is only helping you increase the CTR. But that's just very fleeting. That's very temporary. The bigger things are more evergreen in nature in general.
Right. Thank you so much, Shivam, for that answer. We don't have any more questions in the chat. If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand or drop them down in the chat. We have a couple of more minutes. Okay, so Rajat is asking, how can we divide the creative type you showed in customer journey, such as acquisition, conversion, retention?
Yeah, sure, Rajat. So see, the thing is that um, acquisition, right? We believe in a strategy that your ad should be addressing the entire funnel. So a good remarketing ad could be a good acquisition ad as well. So that is why it's important. It's just not that if you have a good social proofing ad, then you're only running it on remarketing, and then you have a completely different ad for a prospective audience. That used to work when you had very razor sharp targeting happening. But now when it's not happening, it's always recommended to have a creative strategy of churning out creatives that can serve the entire funnel.
Oh, thank you so much, Shivam, for that answer. No problem, Vivek. That is absolutely fine. Thank you so much for attending. So yeah, thank you so much, Shivam, for this session. We have one last question from Uday, I would say. So Uday is asking, going D2C gives brands complete control over their operations, but that also comes with increased liability for things usually shared with third parties like shipping, sensitive customer financial data, cybersecurity breaches. How to correct this?
Sure. I mean, see, your data privacy is a very hot narrative, but then again, you cannot avoid it given the times we are living in. Of course, like I'm not a cyber security expert here, but having the right kind of discretion while sharing your data in any form and understanding the terms and conditions of whoever are the three parties you're signing up with will help you keep a control of the data you have. And always, try not to share it with someone, your customer data with everyone who is asking for it. Only give it to someone who you trust, or give to them in an encrypted form if it's needed anyway. So yeah, discretion is definitely advised. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shivam, for that answer. We don't have any more questions, and thank you so much for being here for our community and for delivering this workshop. It was a great session. I got to learn a lot from this session, and thank you to all the attendees for being here and attending the session. So I'll be keeping the link open for a couple of more minutes for you to access Shivam's LinkedIn profile. Do connect with him on LinkedIn if you have any more questions, if you have anything to be in detail to be discussed about. So,
Yeah, Rajat, possibly we can also connect because you seem to be having a few questions that can be discussed in more detail. So I'm dropping my link again. Happy to connect anytime.
sure. Thank you so much, Shivam. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great day and a great weekend ahead.
Thank you, Tanisha, for hosting this, and had a lot of fun. And I hope you guys are taking away something from this session. As I said, Uday and everyone else, let's connect offline now or on LinkedIn, and let's Thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.